Her name was Amina, a young journalist with big dreams and a heart full of love. When she first met David, it felt as if the world had paused. He was tall, charming, and full of the kind of hope that made her believe in possibilities. David wasn't rich. He was a struggling businessman trying to keep his small shop afloat, but with him, Amina felt safe, seen, and deeply loved. They moved in together, sharing a small double-roomed house, modest, but filled with laughter, late-night talks, and whispered dreams of a brighter tomorrow. David often held her close and whispered promises. "You're my only love. Always you, forever you." But love alone wasn't enough for Amina. Working as a reporter, she was surrounded daily by colleagues with luxury cars, designer clothes, and glamorous lifestyles. And slowly, a seed of discontent began to grow inside her heart. One evening, at a glittering office event, she met Brian, wealthy, confident, and effortlessly sophisticated. Unlike David, Brian could give her everything she admired. They connected instantly, and before long, their late-night conversations turned into stolen moments, secret meetings, and eventually, an affair. Amina grew skilled at lying. To David, she claimed long work shifts or trips out of town. Meanwhile, Brian showered her with gifts: the designer handbag she once longed for, the perfume that lingered long after he was gone, the sleek phone she could never afford. David, blinded by love, never doubted her. He trusted every word. Then came the final lie. With tears in her eyes, Amina told David she had been offered a new job in another city. She promised they would still see each other, that distance wouldn't break them. David believed her, kissed her forehead, and even helped her pack. But she wasn't moving for work. She was moving in with Brian. David stood in the doorway as the taxi pulled away, whispering to himself, "She'll come back. She loves me." At first, life with Brian sparkled. Luxury, fine dining, and social status. Everything Amina thought she wanted. But as weeks turned into months, the shine began to fade. Brian was controlling, possessive, and quick to anger. To him, Amina was more of an ornament than a partner. One night, after a bitter argument, Amina scrolled through her old photos. There was David, smiling, holding her hand, eyes full of nothing but love. Tears filled her eyes as she realized she had traded something real for something shallow. She thought of calling him, apologizing, begging for forgiveness. But when she finally searched for him online, what she found left her breathless. David was no longer the struggling man she had left behind. His business had flourished, his shop had blossomed into a thriving enterprise. Pictures showed him in crisp suits, standing tall with the confidence she had never seen before. And beside him was a woman. Beautiful. Radiant. Holding his hand. Grace. Jealousy tore through Amina's heart like fire. How could he? Hadn't he once sworn she was his only love? His words echoed in her mind. "No one will ever take your place. It's you, always you, forever you." Those weren't just memories, they were promises. And in Amina's mind, promises David had no right to break. Her sadness hardened into determination. She told herself, "David still loves me. He has to. That woman is just a distraction. He belongs with me." From that moment, Amina made up her mind. She would win him back. She started subtly, liking his posts, sending him friendly messages, reminding him of their old memories. Slowly, her words stirred something in David, nostalgia. He remembered the laughter, the nights in their small home, the love they once shared. For a brief moment, David's heart wavered. But he wasn't alone anymore. Grace was nothing like Amina. She was gentle yet strong, elegant without being flashy, supportive without being demanding. She had met David when his business was just beginning to grow, and instead of judging his humble beginnings, she stood by him, celebrated him, and encouraged him. Grace didn't need gifts to feel loved. Her love itself was a gift. Still, when Amina pressed harder, calling him late at night, reminding him of his promises, David faltered. He even agreed to meet her, just for coffee. The old spark flickered, faint but undeniable, and Amina's heart soared. She was certain she was winning him back. She also went ahead and found Grace. David had never spoken much about his ex. It was too painful, so Grace had no idea who Amina really was. Using charm and coincidence, Amina befriended her. At first, their friendship blossomed naturally. Grace admired Amina's confidence and wit, and Amina used every opportunity to subtly undermine David, without ever revealing her true intentions. One afternoon, as they chatted over coffee, the topic of relationships came up. Grace, smiling warmly, asked, "So, Amina, are you seeing anyone?" With a sly grin, Amina pulled out her phone. "Yes, actually. David and I. We've been through so much together." She scrolled through old photos of her and David, laughing, hugging, kissing. The color drained from Grace's face. Her hands trembled as her heart pounded in her chest. The man she loved, the man she trusted, was staring back at her from another woman's phone. But Grace was no fool. She forced a smile, pretending not to be shaken. She didn't let Amina see the storm raging inside her. Later that night, Grace confronted David. With a voice that was calm but laced with pain, she asked, "Who is Amina?" David froze. His past had returned, more vicious than he imagined. Finally, he confessed everything: how Amina was his ex, how she left him for another man, and how broken he had been until Grace helped him heal. Grace's eyes welled with tears, not only from betrayal, but from the fear that David's heart might still belong to Amina. "Why didn't you tell me about her?" she whispered. David held her hands tightly. "Because you are my present, Grace. You are my future. I didn't want my past to taint what we have." Grace believed him. But doubt had been planted. Meanwhile, Amina, emboldened by Grace's silence, became more aggressive. She continued her friendship with Grace, weaving herself deeper into her life while secretly working to sabotage their relationship. Every laugh, every memory she reminded David of, tugged at his heartstrings. For a moment, he wavered. But Grace was not like Amina. She had strength clothed in gentleness. She loved David not for what he had, but for who he was. After weeks of playing her manipulative game, Amina decided to take things further. She invited Grace for what seemed like a simple girls' hangout, just the two of them. A quiet cafe, a corner table, laughter, and friendship. Grace, though wary, agreed. She wanted to understand this woman better, the woman whose shadow still lingered in David's past. When they met, the greetings were polite, almost warm. They ordered coffee, exchanged pleasantries, and sat across from each other. Amina's smile was laced with hidden intent. But then, suddenly, Grace glanced up and froze. David was walking toward their table. For a brief second, Amina's heart leapt, thinking maybe this was fate, that maybe David couldn't resist seeing her again. But as he stopped at their table, his eyes were cold, his jaw tight. Grace remained silent, her hands folded, watching the moment unfold. The silence was deafening. Finally, David spoke, his voice firm but steady. "Amina, enough is enough." Her confident facade cracked. She stammered, "David, I didn't know you'd be here. I just wanted to."
He cut her off, his tone sharper now. "You've lied. You've manipulated. You tried to poison the very love I found after you left me broken. Grace deserves better than your games, and so do I." Tears welled in Amina's eyes. Her voice trembled, desperate. "David, please. I know I hurt you, but I've changed. I'll never lie again. I'll stand by you this time. Just give me one more chance. I'll love you better than anyone ever could." Grace sat silently, her eyes wide, her heart aching at the scene before her. But she stayed composed, letting David handle what needed to be done. David leaned closer, his words cutting through her pleas like a blade. "Amina, I loved you once. Maybe a part of me always will. But love isn't just words. It's loyalty when it's hardest. You left me when I had nothing. Grace stayed when I had little. And she stands by me now. My future is with her, not with you." Amina broke down, sobbing, reaching out to him. "David, please. Don't do this to me, I can't lose you again." But David stood tall, his decision unwavering. He took Grace's hand, holding it firmly. His final words were calm, resolute, and final. "Don't ever come near us again, Amina." And with that he turned and walked away, Grace by his side. Amina sat frozen, tears streaming down her face, abandoned in the very cafe where she thought she'd win him back. The world had gone silent. She had lost. Not just David, not just Grace, but herself. And then came Brian's final betrayal. That evening, Amina returned home early in distress to find him laughing on the sofa with another woman. Their intimacy was unmistakable. When she confronted him, Brian only smirked. Don't be naive, Amina. You wanted this life, didn't you? This is the price. Women come and go, it's nothing personal. His words cut deeper than the betrayal itself. The man she had sacrificed everything for had discarded her like nothing. Shattered and humiliated, Amina packed her things and left. But leaving Brian meant starting from square one. She had burned every bridge, abandoned her home, and lost her only true love. Now she stood alone. No David. No Brian. No certainty. Just the echo of promises she herself had broken. And with bitter clarity she finally understood. Sometimes in chasing more we end up with nothing. And sometimes, there are no second chances.